Kicking us off first on the early prelims is Joel Alvarez versus Alexander Yakovlev.
Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting fight, right? We got Alvarez, who's only lost twice. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He looked really good against Duffy. I liked the distance striking. I mean, the takedown that he tried to get was basically a finish via submission, and so he really does have great ability around the cage. And the thing with Yakovlev is he's your prototypical old school wrestler. You know, he's kind of old, been in the UFC since 2014. 3-5 record. He's got 2 losses against Maia and Usman, which is a pretty big deal. He's got wins against guys like he's got wins against guys like Gray Maynard and Paul Daly. So there's things that you kind of like about him, but I think if you had to really sum him up, he's probably a gamer, right? A guy that's willing to take some damage, maybe get a little tired, and see what he's able to kind of eke out as a win. That decision kind of guy. Whereas with Alvarez, I get that vibe that he's a bit more of a finisher. And so I think with that edge, it's more creative, younger, longer. There's just a lot more that goes into this. And I just think from what I saw from a takedown perspective, I don't think it's going to go his way.
And 2 things that you touched on, as a casual person noticing this fight right away is, he's younger, he's faster, he's bigger, his length is, substantially longer, right? Like all of these things are playing into, kind of this matchup right here. And I think that's going to give Mr. Alvarez, quite the advantage.
And so, I mean, if I'm picking odds here, I'm going to say that Alvarez has to be a -290 and -280.
Yeah, and so actually that's what stood out to me as well, is just looking at the mismatch of these two and the line somewhat reflecting it. But at -200, I think there's still good value on Alvarez here.
And that's where the experience is coming into play, right? I think Yakovlev just has such an impeccable resume when it just comes to overall MMA fights. But like we said, what have you done for me lately? We've seen guys come in a bit rustier. I just think, that edge to Alvarez really has to do with what we kind of saw against a guy like Joe Duffy and what he can probably put together against a guy like Yakovlev, who, 3-5 in the UFC since 2014 is not the best thing we've seen.
No, and especially not over 6-year time period. So, yeah, stay tuned. I think we're going to end up taking that one at a -200 and, maybe sprinkle in a few parlays there. So.